Hey Dallas, thanks for taking the time today. We'll start with John McMullen and then go to Brooks.
Hey Dallas, good to see you. Just curious, 11 practices now, you got some time. Have you gotten a feel for how Sydney has improved in the secondary? And I know Drew's been banged up, but if you got any first impressions of Drew as well.
Yeah. Sydney, it seems like he's been picking things up. One thing about him, he always flies around. He's always making his way to the ball, and that's what you like to see from a guy playing safety, flying downhill. His speed's something that always stands out, just the way he attacks it. And like you said, Drew's missed a few practices. I've been able to go against him early, and when he got back, he's a rookie, so you can tell that you can beat him on a couple things that you know as a vet. But he seems like he's improving each and every day, and gives me tough matchups.
We'll go to Brooks and then Martin.
You guys are as a first team rotation getting most of your, I guess, in-game style on the practice field, not in pregame, but kind of at this point in training camp, how would you measure kind of how things have advanced under Patullo implementing this offense?
Yeah, I think the offense has been doing a good job. Every day is a little bit different, depends on what we have in for that day. But it's been really good. There's days that we run the ball really well, and that's to be expected with the running back that we have and the offensive line we have. And each day it seems like the pass game's getting better and better. We're getting on the same page with Jalen, getting on the same page of what KP's asking us to do. So, it's still early in camp. We still got a ways to go, but it seems like we keep improving each and every day, and that's what you want to see.
We'll go to Martin and then CMAC.
Hey Dallas, I know obviously the starters, at least on offense, like haven't really played in the preseason games for the past few years. So I was kind of wondering, obviously you have the practices with the Browns this week. How valuable is that for you guys as starters to get, ready for the regular season? And what kind of things do you guys get out of it by going against, an opposing team's defense?
Yeah, we have the benefit against going against our defense a lot, which has great players on the D line, great players in the secondary. So we're always getting really good work, even though we're not playing in the preseason. But when the Browns come here, it's really nice playing a new team because we're not going against the same guys over and over. And they start to get a feel for our offense. We get a feel for what they're doing on defense, and you do it that way. But it's just a great way to compete, see where you are, stack against what we've done compared to what they do. And, our goal is just to go out there and compete, practice really hard, and just continue to grow on what we've been taught to do.
We'll go to Dave Z here and then Zach Berman.
Hey, Dallas, kind of a broad question here, but we talk so often about the selflessness required to play in this offense with so many mouths to feed. For you personally, has that always kind of been in your DNA, or is that something that you've had to work on throughout your career?
I feel like it's always kind of been in my DNA. Obviously, playing at a smaller school, I got a ton of targets. And then when I got drafted here, Zach was here. So he got a majority of the targets. And, I just tried to do whatever I could to see the field. Just like most of the people on this team, I care about winning more than I do about personal stats, personal accolades. Last year was a ton of fun, the way we were able to do it. And, it just seems like when you have a few people that are selfless, it's just contagious. More people don't care about what happens to them as long as we're having a lot of success as a team.
We'll go to Zach Berman and then Olivia.
Hey Dallas, someone as a follow-up to that, what's the biggest difference between you or I guess the biggest difference of you now compared to 2018 when you first came into the league?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's a completely different player. Being a rookie, I had so much to learn. I tried really hard blocking. I tried hard running my routes and everything. But just as the older you get, the game slows down for you. You understand what works, what doesn't. When Coach Sirianni got here, he kind of changed the philosophy of route running. We used to roll our routes more, and he's all about stick and separate. So I feel like my blocking's gotten better, smarter, able to use tools in my tool bags more often just because the more you play, you get more. And then I feel like my route running's improved tremendously since 8 years ago.
We'll go to Olivia and then CMAC.
Hey Dallas, Kylan Granson was pretty involved as a pass catcher in the first preseason game. I know we've asked you a lot about the new guys, but when it comes to Kylan in particular, what's impressed you the most in terms of his pass catching abilities and as a route runner?
Yeah, for Kylan, he's a super explosive, fast guy. He does a really good job running routes, being able to create separation. His strides are so long. He's a really powerful runner. That stood out really early, just how fast and powerful he is, and that's a good way to get open in this league, being able to do that. And like you said, he was able to catch a few balls and look good doing it.
We'll go to CMAC and then EJ.
Dallas, first time for you playing at the Link since the NFC Championship game last season. 60,000 fans expected to be there tonight. What do you think the atmosphere is going to be like?
Man, these open nights in training camp are always the most fun. I'm sure it's going to be the most full one yet. The fans are going to be going crazy. It's going to be just a fun atmosphere, getting back out there with the fans, playing in front of them, hearing them cheer for the big plays, the bad plays, hearing a few boos, I'm sure. But I'm just excited to be back with them, going into the link, getting our feet wet. I know last year at this open practice was a lot of fun, so I'm expecting big things from the fans, and it should be a fun night.
We'll go to EJ and then Martin.
Hey, Dallas, you mentioned being a former FCS guy. There's not a ton of you guys in the league. I guess what was your perspective of what Darius Cooper did in the preseason game as a fellow FCS guy?
Yeah, I thought he did really well. You've been seeing flashes of really good things of him in camp, and he carried over to the game. He's kind of the same. He's a really explosive, compact wide receiver that gets open in many different ways, and it was fun to see him have success. Anytime FCS or rookie scores a touchdown in the preseason, it's always a lot of fun to go celebrate with them, and they're finally starting their career and doing it the right way, and it's just fun to see the excitement in those young guys.
We have time for two more, so we'll do Martin and then Brooks.
Hey, Dallas. When you first got here in 2018, it was right after they won the Super Bowl, and obviously you guys are in a similar situation. And I was just kind of curious, like, if you noticed any differences from those teams. I mean, it seemed like the 2018 team was, a lot more veteran oriented and stuff. Like, have you kind of noticed like a difference, I guess, with what you're seeing this season from these guys coming off the Super Bowl, as opposed to maybe back then when they were coming off the Super Bowl, even though you were a rookie?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. It was my rookie year. I was excited. It was obviously really cool that they won the Super Bowl the year before, but I didn't get to experience what they went through in that full year and how things changed and were different. Obviously, there's a few different factors. Back then, we knew Carson was going to miss a few games. We had people coming back from injury yet. But, it feels, I would say, compared to last year to this year, I think we're right on the same page. We're continuing to grow. Everybody's got their head down. Everybody's really hungry. That taste of success didn't, meet anybody's expectations. It just made us all more hungry. And as a team, that's cool to see everybody working even harder because we care about the journey so much.
We'll finish with Brooks here.
Hey, Dallas, earlier you said, Nick Sirianni had a hand in, how you progressed as a pass catcher, like, stick and separate difference there. What other ways did he have his hands in, just how the tight end room operated, how you guys advanced in the passing game?
Yeah, like I said, he was showing me clips of Julio Jones, how to run corner stops and things like that. And, initially I'm sitting there like, that's Julio Jones, one of the greatest wide receivers to ever do it. Like, yeah, he's getting the defenders off because they're threatened by his speed, probably a little bit more than a tight end would be. But once you buy in, you start doing it, you just see more and more that if you stick defenders back up just because it's their natural reaction, they have to protect it over the top. And, he's just so detailed oriented in the routes, the passing game, that I feel like it elevated the entire room just because giving indicators for the quarterback, being able to get the ball more often that way. And, everything that he told us to do seemed like it worked. So once that happens, you just start buying in more and more each time.
Thanks, Dallas. Appreciate you taking the time today.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Moro, thanks for taking the time today. We're going to start with Jeff Nyberg and then go to John McMullen.
Hey, Moro. Obviously, you probably never want to see a teammate get traded, but after they traded Book, was there part of you that's that's kind of like a show of faith in you and the next step they're expecting you to take this year? What was that like? And obviously, there's a bittersweet nature to this as well.
Yeah, I think ultimately we're in a industry that decisions are made for the betterment of the organization as a whole. And I think with that trade, that's what was in mind. And, it's sad to see your brother go that you've connected with, you've grown with, you've worked hard with. But ultimately, I think all parties want to look at the best possible outcome, right? And talk to Book, and I think he's looking at it the best possible way he can, and he's excited to get an opportunity there. And going forward, let's just try to make the best out of it.
We'll go to John McMullen and then Dave Zangaro.
Hey, Maro. You've gotten so much positive reinforcement, I feel, this summer. We were talking to Clint Hurts yesterday. He mentioned you're a 3-down player, you're not a role player. When you hear stuff like that, how do you handle it? Because obviously you're taking a big step forward in your career, but you're getting that positive reinforcement. Do you just handle things the same way as usual?
Yeah, I think you have to. We're in a league and just a situation where sometimes you can't be too high, you can't be too low, right? So I think you receive those things and you're happy to receive those things, and they can be used to encourage yourself. But you don't want, I think it's Saban that talks about the rat poison, right? You don't want to listen to that too much. And you just keep working, you put your head down and you work and keep improving.
We'll go to Dave and then Brooks.
Hey, Mauro, when you think about your first 2 years in the league and all the work that went into the developmental process, what are some things about that process that you think the average person might not know?
Yeah, I think the average person doesn't know how amazing our staff is, from the top to the bottom, from player personnel, development, the weight room, the nutrition staff, the training room, coaches, and I think those people help a ton. Also, maybe how much teammates lean on one another, how much teammates can inspire and help others, right? Having vets like BG and Fletch, I think, really helped. And yeah, having guys like Matt Leo, Patrick McDowell, Clint Hurt, Tracy Rocker, all those guys, they kind of help you, right? And they have experience and they've seen what it takes to get there. They kind of just push you in the right direction.
We'll go to Brooks and then Olivia.
How would you describe the demands of a 3-down defender like you in this defense?
Yeah, I would describe it as Clint Hurt is a former defensive coordinator, and I think he helps us see the defense as a whole, right? So just being an intelligent football player, I think that's one of the things Jalen Carter does at an extremely high level, right? Kind of understanding, are we getting run pass keys? What is there? Is there somebody that's showing us something that every time he does this, it's a run, right? Someone told me something, and it changed the way I played football. They basically said that generally when you're at this level, everyone has talent, right? But some people play faster, and they play faster because they're seeing things on the field, right? So how can you slow the game down, I think, is key.
We'll go to Olivia and then Johnny.
Hey, Mauro, when we talked to Landon Dickerson last week, he gave you a compliment. He said that you're awkward to block. And I think there's like a kind of a combination of factors that go into that, including your size and the way you move. Some of that is inherent, but first of all, have you heard that assessment before? Do you agree with that? And then also, is there anything that you do to kind of like lean into that quote unquote awkwardness and kind of take advantage of that?
Yeah, I think that I thank my dad and God and just genes. I think I have a really long wingspan, and I think that that's an extreme benefit when you're a defensive lineman. And then I think that what you do is you kind of study offensive linemen and defensive linemen. you want to make an offensive lineman uncomfortable, right? So in whatever way that you can do that, I think that's the goal. And when you kind of have that, when that happens, you're able to, make the plays and do the things you want to do.
We'll go to Johnny and then C-Mac.
Moro, we saw on Thursday night Ty Robinson get a sack in his first action at the link. What has impressed you about Ty so far during this camp and this preseason?
Yeah, one, Ty's a very smart player. He's a great rookie, and he listens and asks questions. And then I think he has a really great pass rush ability. And he showed up every day, works hard, listens, and I'm excited to see what he continues to do.
We'll go to C-Mac and then Martin.
Moro, you've been here in Philly for a couple of years now. On a Sunday night in August, there's going to be 60,000 fans at the link. It's a sellout for the practice tonight. What does that mean to you as a player?
It means everything. This organization from the top to the bottom is run extremely well, and I think the fans appreciate that, and the fans are amazing, right? You don't get this in many other cities. You don't get to be surrounded by fans that care and they want to see you wear the logo with pride, and it helps the players. That energy, energy helps everyone, right? You need energy to do anything great in life, and I think we're so grateful. I know we're so grateful to have such an amazing fan base.
We only have time for a few more, so we'll go Martin, Rube, and then finish with Zach.
Hey, Moro. Obviously, this season you kind of have a different role in, where you stand, with the first team and everything like that. So I was kind of curious, as a guy who probably won't play in the preseason games, what you kind of get out of this week with the Browns coming in for practice, going against their offensive line. Like, how valuable is that for you guys, you personally, and also the defensive line as a whole? Thanks.
Yeah, I think that where we are as a defensive line is just trying to be the greatest competitors that we can be, and we work to be the best, at everything. And I think we're super excited to face a team such as the Browns, that has great offensive linemen, and I'm excited for the competition.
We'll go to Rube here and then finish with Zach.
One other thing Clint Hurtt said yesterday was that he considers you like a coach on the field, like you're almost like an extra coach. What does that mean to you to hear your position coach say that?
Honored. A guy that's been in coaching, I think, 20 plus years. A brilliant coach, a guy that's coached a ton of players. And I think one thing that Clint does at an extremely high level is allow us to take ownership in the room and allow us to build from one another. And, if JC is able to tell me something here, I'm able to tell him something here. It's amazing. It's really fun.
We'll go to Zach.
Hey, Moro, what's something you're doing this summer that you weren't doing last summer?
That's a good question. I think as time has progressed, I realized some of the little intricacies of what is important for a defensive line when you think about like the positions that we're kind of in and what makes a great defensive lineman. I think when you see a lot of great defensive linemen, you kind of see there's leg drive incorporated with core and a lot of grip strength, so I think I've been honing in on some of the finer details and the finer positions that I find myself in more often.
Thanks, Moro.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Reed, thanks for taking the time today. We're going to start with Jeff and then go to C-Mac.
Perfect. Hey, Reed, I'm wondering, from your perspective, after watching him over the last couple of years, what stands out to you most about Moro Ojomo's development?
He's one of those, I would say, kind of slept on guys. I think every practice that we've had, his name has been brought up in our defensive meeting room of how aggressive and how he just goes to work every day. Obviously I don't get to see a lot of it with my perspective, when we're playing, but when I go watch film, it's like he's standing out on every pass rush rep, like he's beating blocks here. It's crazy. And I kind of knew that he was going to be that type of player just by his personality in the weight room and just how he carries himself. But man, I'm super excited to watch him work.
We'll go to C-Mac and then John McMullen.
Reed, what does it do for a veteran like yourself to have 60,000 people at the link for a Sunday night practice?
I honestly think this is one of the coolest practices ever, like any organization could do. Obviously, you know, when I was a rookie doing it, I'm like, this is insane. Like, we have however many fans show up, and it's only a open practice, you know, and we're doing it for a great cause. But it's one of those things that I get to get in the game mode type feeling, and I wouldn't say I'm nervous or anxious. I just, you know, you get that. It's a different type of feeling you get before you go play a game, and especially in front of, you know, the city of Philadelphia and what they bring, what the fans bring to the stadium. You know, it's great. It's a great atmosphere.
We'll go to John McMullen and then Brooks.
Sorry about that. Hey, Reed, curious to hear about your role, the competition opposite you. Sydney Drew's been banged up, even Tristan, but if you go back to last year with an entrenched player like CJ, how do you handle your role in sort of supporting that competition?
Yeah, you just I just try to be myself. I'm not looking to. I'm just there to be a helpful hand. I know it's a crazy situation that guys are put in. I've been in it. You know, I'm still fighting to be the best I can too. You know, for the team, and just watching these guys come to work every day. You don't see any sort of, I don't know, any tension between anybody. I feel like that it's a shout out to our room and our coaches that allows that environment. We just want to work together. We're willing to succeed and watch other people succeed. And you know, they're doing a great job. They're asking the right questions. They're anticipating the right stuff. And you know, that's all you want to see, especially a guy like me. And you know, me and CD had a really good relationship on the field and off the field. And you know, it helps a lot when you have that. And just seeing these guys, you know, go to work and understanding the defense and are smart enough to anticipate different things, you know, it gives my self-confidence.
We'll go to Brooks and then Dave.
Hey, Reed. Earlier last week, Christian Parker was talking to us about how the defense changes whenever a cornerback travels. He says it can sometimes get complicated. Discombobulated was the word he actually used. From your perspective as a safety, someone who has a lot of responsibility there, how do things change for you, and how do you see that work whenever a cornerback has to travel in this defense?
You know, it does throw you off at times, just because we're not known for traveling a lot of corners, but you kind of get comfortable where everybody's at. And once you start seeing moving pieces in front of you, because I'm used to seeing, you know, Cooper, he'll travel with different people or different strengths, whatever, and that's cool. But you add another body that keeps, you know, going across the field. You got to make sure that you pay a little bit more attention. Make sure he gets the call. I know it's a position that he's not really used to being in. You know, I'm sure he did it in college, but it's tough because, like you said, you're more worried about, all right, where's this guy? Like, say he follows AJ, you know, all practice, like, where's AJ? And you got to make sure that the other corner is on his side and that we're not two corners over and I've got to worry about this side. Nobody's covering a tight end or something. So it gets complicated at times, but I mean, obviously we will know beforehand going into the game and, you know, practice the whole week. You're going to get comfortable with that. And, you know, it's all about communication and being confident in yourself to know where the pieces are that are moving and just get everybody in the right spot.
We'll go to Dave and then Zach.
Reed, playing next to a different safety in base versus nickel, does that put extra stress on you when that piece is changing?
No, I don't think it's any stress. It's just a different person, you know, out there. I know that whoever's going to be out there, they know their job, whether it's Cooper, whether it's Sydney, Drew, Tris, whoever, you know, they know what to do. And that's why I say I don't want to change up who I am. You know, I want to be as consistent as possible and kind of be that rock in the secondary. And, you know, they can lean on me with anything, but it really doesn't cause any stress because I just know that I'm confident that they're going to get their job done.
We'll go to Zach and then Johnny.
Hey Reed, as someone who might have once been the 90th guy on the roster, what's your message to guys in that spot right now trying to make the team?
You gotta love football. You gotta come to work every day. You gotta build relationships, even when you don't think there's any sort of relationship being built. There's always something going on. We're all here for one reason only. That's to win games. And I'm sure if coaches see that in you, they see that drive, see that fire, they're gonna give you a chance. And it's all about getting that opportunity. I was fortunate enough to have that opportunity, and now here I am, and it just takes one person to believe in you, and then the dominoes start falling the right way. So
we'll finish with Johnny here.
Reed, what's the biggest difference you've seen in Quinyon from last year this time to now?
First thing, he's a little bit more vocal. I know coming in last year, he was a silent guy. I know Cooper called him the silent assassin, but this year, I don't know. You can just tell he's settling into himself and playing at a higher level than he was last year. And it's crazy to think that he's only a second-year guy, and for him to have that success, especially as a rookie, man, that just gives him the confidence, and you need confidence to play in this game, especially at corner. But man, he's doing a great job. He understands like route concepts. He understands formations. We talk all the time. Like, what did you see right here? Kind of what I did with Slay, when Slay was here. And, I know Slay had a huge, part in his training with them too. So he learned from the best, I would say that. So I'm very excited to watch Q. So
thanks, Reed.
Yep, thank you.
Hey, Smael, thanks for taking the time for us today. We're going to start with Brooks and then go to CMAC.
Hey, Smael. That start in the preseason, Vic Fangio was telling us, there was a bit of a change right before that. They had Jahad Campbell was reducing his snaps. What was the communication to you before that, the opportunity to go in and your experience getting that start?
As far as like the communication before, it was just the coaches telling me how it was gonna go as far as like the reps and then who was gonna go out there first. But it was good though, it was a great experience for sure.
We'll go to CMAC and then John McMullen.
Smael, you got your first taste of the fans in the preseason opener on Thursday night. What do you think tonight is going to be like for you going into an open practice where there'll be 60,000 fans in attendance?
It's going to be fun. It's going to be another new experience. Really everything's been new just coming here. But as far as what it's going to be like, I try not to think about that as much, though. I kind of try to just focus on, like, playing. But it's going to be great, to get in front of the fans, to feel the love, the energy out there on Lincoln Field.
We'll go to John McMullen and then Martin Frank.
Hey, Smael. First, coming off your first live NFL environment, obviously you played at a very high level in college. Any differences that you could point to any changes from the speed of the game or anything?
It was definitely fast. Like, I was like just talking to I forgot who it was I was talking to like a little bit after the game, but I was like, I done played in the Georgia, Alabama, SEC championships, national championships, but just even being out there like for a preseason game was just like different than all of those. So it was just like a crazy experience for me, real blessed to have been able to experience that, but definitely fast for sure. I would definitely say it was fast, but it was real good to be out there.
We'll go to Martin and then Dave.
Hey, Smael. I was kind of curious, you and Jahad obviously coming in as rookies in the linebacker room with established guys like, Zach Bond and Nakobe. They've obviously haven't been practicing much. Nakobe not at all, but just kind of like how valuable this experience has been, you guys, you and Jahad and Trotter, obviously, getting all these first team reps. How much do you think that's helping you along as far as getting ready for, the season and whatever role you might have?
Now it's been real valuable because like the main thing coming into the NFL that a lot of coaches from college would try to preach to me is like you gotta take basically you gotta take like you gotta make the most out of your reps because it's not as many whenever you come to the NFL. So to be able to get those extra reps with those guys being out and then to be able to have those guys watching me get those reps and to be able to critique me and then let me know like what I need to work on, what I could have did better this rep, or what I did good and what I need to keep doing more of. So it's been real great. Like I could see like my growth like kind of like shoot up, just like me as a player, and then like as my development, just because of those extra reps, and then having those like established guys there to help coach me up and lead me.
We'll finish with Dave unless we have any other questions for Smael.
Smael, how does it help having Jihad and Lance, fellow rookies, in the room with you? How much do you guys lean on each other?
Yeah, we lean on each other a lot. Like we all just kind of help each other out. It's kind of like a one hand washes the other thing. We're all stronger together. You know, two minds are stronger than one. So just being out there, having other guys that's experiencing the same thing I'm experiencing at the same time, we kind of just go through it together. So to have them there to lean on it, it feels like real good. You know, versus me being the only rookie in there, like I feel like it'd be a lot harder mentally. But having them in there, you know, to share, you know, some of the experiences I have, and then for them to learn from my mistakes that I make when I'm out there, and then for me to learn from their mistakes, and just everybody just helping each other grow. It's been great.
We'll go to Brooks and then Rube.
What were some of the key, points of, lessons for you out of that preseason game that you've applied in practice so far?
One of the main things, as far as my technique, probably using my hands more. Kind of coming from college, you can get away with some things. You can get away with more things in college than you'd be able to get away with like on the NFL field, you know, with NFL talent guys. So kind of just using my hands more and sticking to my technique. I kind of got away from my technique a little bit in the beginning of the game. So that was like one of the main things. And then kind of just not overthinking, you know, personally, just going out there and playing free.
We'll go to Rube and then Martin.
How far do you feel like you've come since the start of training camp, or even going back to OTAs?
I feel like I've come like really far, mainly mentally. I feel like just being able to like soak up all the game that, you know, the vets have been giving me, and just like learning from everybody. I feel like mentally I've taken a lot of steps, and I feel like I still got a long way to go, but I feel like I'm making progress, and I can see it though. So I'm real happy, but not satisfied though. I'll say that.
We'll finish with Martin.
Hey, Smile. This is kind of a like shot in the dark and anything, but do you have any experience going against Shedeur Sanders, whether in high school or college? You know him at all? No. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just thought I'd ask.
Yeah.
Thanks, Smael.
No problem. Thank you.